Welcome back to the channel, and no, it's not Duncan Goodhue or Richard O'Brien from the Crystal Maze. Since my last video I've shaved, and I've shaved my head, so it probably looks a bit harsh, but I needed to tidy myself up after the live. Looking back on it, scruffy beard and hair was getting a bit long, so I think I've gone a bit too far, haven't I? But anyway, today's video is caravan accessories, the good, the bad and the ugly. Yeah, okay. So first of all, we'll go through the good, the bad, and then we'll go through the ugly. So we'll start off with the good. The first item is something that Claire bought when we'd been in the show, and we'd seen them at the show, but she ended up going online and got it for a better price. They were a melamine set from Bruna, and the reason why she went for them, even though they were a little bit more expensive than standard ones, they had like a little rubber ring all the way around the bases of everything. So whenever you got them on the work surface, even though if you like knocked them by mistake, it had a chance of staying on the surface, especially when Mike's eating. He can be a little careless. So when we've got the table set up, or we've got plates and cups and things on the front chest in the front of the caravan, they're less likely to be knocked off because of this like rubber ring. It's very, very grippy. So that went straight into the good section. Big thumbs up for that. I hate to say this, but I got drawn into the world of the Kadak, or Kadak, however way it's out. Graham, the caravan vlogger, always pulls me up on the way I pronounce it, but the Kadak, whatever. I got drawn into it, absolutely love it, even though I said I'd never ever buy one. I think they're absolutely brilliant. Some people swear by the Weber types. My friend Colin, he's got like a Weber type, but I just love the Kadak. It's so versatile. There's so many different things that you can cook on it. It's absolutely fantastic. We absolutely love it, so it had to go in the good. Thumbs up. I'm going to sound like a real camper nerd and fan here, but bear with us, because there's a couple of items in the bad that are camper that I'm not impressed with, so stick around for that. It has to be our awning. Easy to set up, easy to blow up, easy to peg out, and it withstood all the storms that Cornwall threw at us last year, and it held up and did the job, and it was absolutely fantastic. So big thumbs up for that. Had to go in the good section. Another couple of camper products, but they had to go into the good section because we've loved using them. Everything about them has been fantastic, no faults with them at all. And first off is the air windbreak. Great for when you sat out on a cool evening when there's a cool breeze. You can sit behind it, and the feature that we love the most is the little window section all the way around it, so you can still see the view if there is one. You can still see out, so you don't feel too trapped behind it. Kept the wind off us, has been fantastic, and even that's so easy to set up. You just lay it out, plug in the pump, sets itself up really, a few pegs, and that's it, done. And the third camper item that has to go in the good is our Frenzy Plus chairs. Slightly wider than standard chairs, really strong, really well built. We've been using them the whole season now, and they've been fantastic. We absolutely love them. Fold flat, easy to transport, and I can't fault them, so they had to go in the good. So we'll move on to the bad. There it is again. Camper. As much as we liked some of their products, because like I've just said, there were a couple of products that we just weren't happy with. I should really have sent them back to where we bought them from, but I'll improvise. I'll fix them and change them my own way. First one was the pole set that we got in the accessory pack when we bought the awning. The little plastic pointy bit that digs into your gravel or into the grass pitch. soon as it got a bit windy and the poles started to do this, even though we'd pushed them against the van, we tied them, everything was done right to the instructions, because of that slight movement, the little plastic pointy bits at the end of the pole, they just sheared off absolutely within the first couple of days of slightly windy weather. That was it, they sheared off. So now the pole set's rendered useless unless I can drill the broken bit of plastic out the pole and improvise and do something with them myself. So that was the first camper product I wasn't too impressed with. The second one was, because it was going to be windy, very windy, I went out and bought not one pack but 2 packs of storm straps, camper storm straps that are supposed to be designed for the air awnings. They worked okay, but within 24 hours, the so-called stainless steel little semicircle rings that the straps hook around had gone completely rusty and looked really bad. So they've had to go in the bad list. Like when you buy a camper product, you expect quality, and in my opinion, those 2 camper products are not very good. So they've gone into the bad section. The other thing is as well, when we first started caravanning, we had this carpet flooring that's meant to be environmentally friendly for when you're on a grass pitch. Because we go to a lot of CLs, we didn't want to leave dead grass when we leave. It's not really very nice to do, is it? So we bought some environmentally friendly carpet that has all the holes in, but we found that when it rains and your pitch gets a bit sodden, the carpet just becomes a mud bath, because all the water and mud comes up through the holes and you just end up with a mud bath. So everything gets covered in mud. So we haven't used that since. That's now folded up and in the shed after being pressure washed down and hosed down. So we haven't used it. So it's got in the bad section. The other thing that has got to go in is, when we first started caravanning, we bought ourselves, because we wanted to watch our Sky, because we were watching, well, at the time it was Sky Plus HD. So we bought a dish, a mobile dish that we could take with us, like this one. But I spent, while Claire was getting annoyed with me, saying, "Come in for your tea," and I'm trying to get a signal. So I ended up buying the little box that beeps when you're pointing at the satellite, but trying to line it up. I had all sorts of apps on my phone, trying to line this satellite dish up and get the skew and of the LMB on the end of it just right. I tell you what, no wonder I've gone bald. I was at the end of my tether with it. I was picking it up and almost smashing it over my knee because it drove me insane. I gave up with it in the end, and to be honest with you, looking back in hindsight, after 3.5 years of caravanning, we very rarely watch TV anyway. We only seem to watch the local news and the weather reports and things like that. Because if you're familiar with our channel, we spend most of our time on days out or sat outside relaxing and enjoying life rather than sat watching TV in the caravan. So we don't really watch an awful lot of TV anyway, so it ended up a complete waste of time. So moving on to the final item, accessory that we bought that ended up being bad and useless and we didn't bother using it again, was a special buy from Aldi. They were screw-in pegs. Although they felt really good quality, and they did actually screw in really well, because you got this like little attachment that you put into your cordless driver and screw the pegs in. What frustrated me is you couldn't get them far enough into the ground before they either catch on your awning, your guy lines, the peg straps, the pegging points, and it absolutely drove me insane. And in the end, I think I used them twice and I binned them off. They're now in the shed as well with the stuff I don't use. So we move on to the ugly. Now, when I say ugly, they're not necessarily bad items. They're just, for us, aesthetic. Like I say, if you're familiar with our vlogs, you know I sometimes can't pronounce words, and can I help say aesthetically pleasing, but you'll know what I mean. We inherited a heater you know, an area for the awning. So we plug it in the outside socket, and when we come home from the day, you know, when we've been on the beach or something like that, and we've got wet towels, we hang them over the area, and within half an hour they're all dry. It works a treat, and it's absolutely fantastic for something that we inherited when we purchased the van. It's been great. It's just butt ugly, as you can see there. So when that's standing up in your awning, it's not very attractive, but it works. The other thing is the aerial that you mount to your jockey wheel. When we first started caravanning, I ended up buying one of these aerials that you mount to your jockey wheel. It's a nightmare to attach, nightmare to line, and it's butt ugly. It just looks like your caravan's on a seasonal pitch, you know, with a bloody big aerial sticking out the front of it. So it was ugly. Another thing was when we decided to go for caravanning and stop tenting, camping, we had windbreaks, and they were like the generic ones that you can buy from any cheap shop. They were like striped, multicoloured things, and I hated them, but Claire said, no, we'll use them. So we were using them, and God, they were butt ugly, horrible things, and they're in the butt ugly section. They really are. They were horrible things. Last thing is the barbecue. When we first started the caravan, we on our very first trip, we took our barbecue from we use in the garden. It's a bloody big thing with sides on it, with a place that you can prep stuff, and then on the other side it had like a little gas hob as well. We thought it would be a great idea to take with us, so we took it to Tenby. We stayed along the Pembrokeshire coast there, and we had some great barbecues. But after the first one, the next morning after the first barbecue we had, because we pulled the barbecue inside, because I didn't want to leave it outside because it'll just rust, it stank the awning out. And then it was the same when we got home. The caravan stunk of bloody, you know, of fat and burgers and what have you, and it just wasn't very pleasant. So that was a big no-no. We've not done that since. So we, like I say, as you know, I ended up buying a Cadillac. You don't get any of that. A lot easier. And the final thing is me in a hat. Now that's got that's got to go in the ugly section, surely, when I nick Claire's hat. But anyway, enough of that, and enough of me waffling on. So hopefully you enjoyed that, our good, bad and the ugly caravan accessories. Do you know what, Claire made me do that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all your support, and I'm back trying to create some videos. We're going away soon, so there'll be a lot more coming from us. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ra.